Hey, grade 12, we have officially finished Animal Farm. So you saw the movie version of it, or the interpretation of it. It covered just some of the main highlights of the novel, like the 7 commandments, the fact that the animals took control of the farm, that there was a 2-tiered system or 2-class system. Then we had the amendments to the respective commandments, and then eventually all of them being taken away and replaced with one maxim: all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Okay. But the other interpretations, characters and things like that, that's totally up to the writer and director of the film. So please do not use the film as your sole source for understanding this text. Just use it as a means to help you visualize what life was like on Animal Farm, and yeah, and go from there. Your job right now is to get your summaries in, and due to the kind of the complications when highlighting a photographed version of your work, and you submitted that way, or you even sent in an attachment as a photo on Google Classroom, highlighting those sections can be a little challenging to find. You won't see it on your cell phone, but you will see it on your computer. And if you're still having issues with seeing those comments so you can fix them up, come see me. But what I said today about maybe submitting a paper copy, let it sit for 3 days, obviously, that before it'll be evaluated. So just keep that in mind. But it might be a little easier for you to submit that paper copy instead. And so we have a hand-in bin in the class. You can put your name on the sheet, staple it together, and put it in the bin. Yeah, if that saves time for you for doing all these attachments, and plus if you don't want to see highlighted sections of your photograph in Google Classroom. So I'll still update the marks on Google Classroom for you, but I'll just mark it separately and then hand it back to you. So let me know what you think of that, and then we can go from there. Okay. I did say I was going to share the visual aid graph for Animal Farm. So if you didn't get this in the class, you can press pause at any time. So I'm not sure if you can see the mouse here, okay? But we have communism, democracy, fascism, totalitarianism, and Marxism, okay? So if I were to do this graph again, I would have it Marxism first, then democracy, then communism, then fascism, and totalitarianism. I would probably just put it in that order instead. But for now, you can see each color represents each chapter of the novel. So based on the type of leadership that we had at the beginning, if we actually will go to Marxism here, very high, that's Old Major there. And then after Old Major dies, 3 days after the meeting in chapter 1, it starts to decline. The whole concept of for the people, equality and things like that starts to drop here significantly, especially after Snowball's exile. And then we know that Napoleon takes over from there. So you can just see a massive drop here. Then we saw democracy right at the beginning, especially when, and then it kind of balanced out here. So the animals had the feeling or idea of freedom and democracy and the ability to vote and help with the decision-making process. And then it totally dropped after Snowball left or was exiled. and it continued to fall to a point where it just became more of a legend or a myth. Maybe on the surface, it looked like they had freedom and you know, they were helping with the decision process, but Napoleon had control over that, and Squealer was spinning it like he always does. We saw communism increase, especially right to the climax of the novel, and then it drops drastically in place of fascism. And it was kind of a bit of a heartbeat up and down for the first, was that 5 chapters there, 6 chapters, and then it just increased dramatically after Napoleon took over. And that would mirror the totalitarianism. So we see that massive increase to the point where Napoleon is running the show, and it's Napoleon's way or the highway. Okay, so hopefully this visual aid or this graph helps to see how things were changing throughout the whole novel, and just so you have an idea of how the different governing took place. And again, on the surface, everything looked one way, but when you dig a little deeper, things are not what they seem. And again, if the animals, or the majority of the animals, took Napoleon's word as the word, but had they educated themselves, had they informed themselves, been more inquisitive, remembered old majors' teachings and things like that, you wouldn't have seen such a massive, well, pretty much easy path to victory for Napoleon and his cohorts. So that's the novel. You can take a look at the previous videos for the summaries again, just for review, and hopefully that'll help you with your projects as well. Projects are due and summaries October 9th, but please try to get it in sooner so you can get that out of your hair and free yourself some time to work on your other class or other things that you need to work on. So other than that, abbreviations are due, and then it's COLA, Conquest, Ads, or Commercial, whichever one you're doing, and the questions on the 2nd. Greatest Showman, obviously most of you are near completion on that, even though it says October 5th, get that in, and again, get that off your plate, and then October 9th, Animal Farm. We may start Hamlet sooner, so just be prepared for that. And we have Writing 101. So we're gonna do some writing activities, and so we can work on those skills and get you ready for post-secondary. Okay? Other than that, we'll see you Friday. Take care, be safe.